daycare that you are proud of. It's located at 1643 Northeast 50th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Our telephone number is 424-4656. Johnson Stradinas, operated by Mrs. Gloria Matthews and Mr. Paul Matthews, where you know your child will be with the type of staff, the type of friends, and the type of concerns. Have you been to Johnson Stradinas? You might go to 1643 Northeast 50th Street or 2611 North Martin Luther King in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Well, as you prepare to celebrate the holiday, which is tomorrow, is a special holiday, I want you to go by Hometown, 2001 Northeast 23rd Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Hometown, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Excuse me, please. Yes, it's time now to talk about Hometown. Open 24 hours for your convenience. Located at 23rd and Martin Luther King in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. We are preparing now to celebrate the beginning of the sit-in movement. And it's going to be a celebration that you will be proud of. It will be the type of celebration that you will be talking about for the rest of the year. The celebration of the sit-in movement. What is the sit-in? Sit-in movement? It is a movement that led to the elimination of segregation in public accommodation. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the people that participated in the sit-in movement. Let's talk about it. We are going to talk about the sit-in movement. A movement that made it possible for someone that's as black as me, and I'm as black as a blackberry, to eat anywhere. Let's talk about the sit-in movement. Yes, let's talk about it. But let's think of those dark days when blacks could not go in restaurants and eat, when blacks could not go into hotels and motels, when they had separate water fountains for blacks and whites. Let's talk about it. You know, some people don't like to talk about history. They don't want to talk about things like it used to be. But unless we talk about where we were, we cannot talk about where we have to go. So, let me kind of acquaint you today with some of the facts in the sit-in movement. And I want to hear from all of you sit-inners. You that made it possible for other people to enjoy just a little breath of freedom. I want to hear from you. And I appreciate those of you that walk up to me and say, Miss Luper, I was there. I was at Johnny Brown's. I was at Anna Maud's. I was at Split Tea. Yes, I was there. And it's time for you to celebrate your own victories. Let's go back to 1957 when the NACP Youth Council was reorganized. May 1957, 26 NACP Youth Council members attended and presented the play Brother President at the NACP convention in New York City, New York. May 1957, negotiations started to open public accommodations. August 19th, 1958, the first sit-ins at Cat's Drug Store started. And that's what we are celebrating, the sit-in movement. Calvin, let's go back to that day. That day when a small group of NACP Youth Council members had congregated at my house. Do you remember where that house was located, Calvin? Think real hard.
Of course I do, Mom. It was located at 1819 Northeast Park Street.
It was August 19th, 1958. The long, hot summer's heat seemed endurable in a small 5-room, white frame house. But the mosquitoes were in complete control outside, and the youngsters remained inside, where they, with sweat on their faces, held their weekly meetings. Gwendolyn Fuller The president of the NACP Youth Council was presiding. Ruth Tolliver and I were in the kitchen preparing grape Kool-Aid and lunch meat sandwiches. Barbara Posey was recognized by the president, Gwendolyn Fuller. And she said, "We had better see what Mrs. Luper thinks. After all, she is a youth advisor." I could feel the eyes of the members on me. I thought for a brief moment and traced the steps that we had taken. We had been patient, and I saw in the children's eyes reflections of my restless childhood when I wanted to do something about a system that had paralyzed my movements and made me an outsider in my own country. These children's ages ranged from 7 to 15. I thought about my father, Ezel Shepard, who had died in 1957 in the Veterans Hospital, and who had never been able to sit down and eat a meal in a decent restaurant. I remember how my dad used to tell us that someday he would take us to dinner, to parks and zoos. And when I asked him when was someday, he would always say, "Someday will be real soon," as tears ran down his cheeks. Yes, he told us how he went to France to fight in the First World War in order to make America safe for democracy. Thinking about my father, Ezel Shepard, my answer was yes. Tonight is the night, August 19, 1958. History compels me to go, and let history alone be our final judge. Calvin, do you remember that?
Of course, Mom, I remember that. First of all, though, let me say good morning to you. It's such a blessing. It's so good to be here and to be a part of the Clara Luper radio show live and in living color here at 1220 on your AM dial. Call that friend, call that neighbor. Invite them to be a part of this show. We're talking about the Freedom Fiesta. But, Mom, yes, I remember that night. But I remember the nights before then. I can remember the opportunity that the NACP gave the Oklahoma City NACP Youth Council. I can remember the opportunity that a young man named Herbert Wright gave the Youth Council to go to New York City to be a part of a play that you had written that was at Dungy High School called Brother President. That play was presented, and Herb Wright saw it and invited the NACP Youth Council to bring that play to the National Convention. Yes, I remember. You all in your infinite intelligence and your wisdom took us through the northern route where many of us, well, most of us actually, had an opportunity for the first time in our lives, our young lives, to sit at a counter, to sit at a table, and to order a simple thing as a hamburger and have somebody bring it to you. Or Coca-Cola, have somebody bring it to you with ice in the Coca-Cola and the straw in it. Yes, Mom, I remember New York City at the Henry Hudson Hotel. That's when the seeds were being planted. That's when the opportunities and enlightenment and the many things and opportunities that Mr. Diggs, A. Willie James, you, Cecil Williams, Attorney Porter wasn't in there at that time, but he come in at that time. But Herbert Wright, Sam Cornelius, Mr. Gatewood, these people that were inspirational to us here in Oklahoma City during the presentation of the play, Brother President. But we went to New York City. We had an opportunity there to live what now is common, but to us, man, you would have thought we were kings and queens, because there we were in a hotel. There we were receiving first-class services. But then, you know, Mom, you're good, and I guess that's why everybody loves you as a teacher, because on our way back, we came the southern route, where we were hit with discrimination like we had never seen before. You know, when you come from Oklahoma to Alabama, go to Oklahoma to Alabama, there's a difference in the discrimination in Alabama. There's a different way that the people look at you. It's a different way they say the N-word. There's a different way the sign looks that says, drink here. You know, this is your restroom here. You know, signs look different in Alabama. They look terrible in Arkansas. You know, I have often thought since Bill Clinton, you know, we're around the same age. And I'm wondering, I said, oh, here he is, saying that and doing this, but then that's neither here nor there, because what we're talking about is the birth of the sit-in movement. That thanks to Brother President, thanks to Herb Wright, thanks to the NAACP, the youth division, the NAACP, the organization itself, for inviting us up there to enlighten us, to open our eyes, to brighten up our outlooks. But then we went through that, and we came back that southern route, Alabama, Arkansas.
Not Alabama, Calvin.
Well,
It was
we came,
Arkansas.
well, okay, Arkansas. Okay, I don't know why I say Alabama. I guess because Arkansas was as bad as they say. Arkansas is my Alabama. But then we did go through that. We did come back, and then we did face discrimination. A couple of weeks after we got back from the convention, the NACP Youth Council members realized that there was a difference here in the way we were being treated at our stores where we were spending. Our parents were spending their money. Our grandparents were riding the bus. There was a big transfer point there at Broadway in Main and Broadway, Johnny Brown's in front of the Old Greens and the Cat's drugstore and all that. There was a change going on, and that was the bus changing. But then the change was in our hearts, and the seeds had been implanted then. And yes, Barbara Posey, Elma Faye, Portwood, those of us who were there, Betty Jean, all of us that were there at that meeting had an experience, had an opportunity. You know, freedom is dangerous. You know, one time you just get a little taste of freedom, you want more. And that's what we wanted, not so much for Oklahoma City because we weren't thinking that far in advance. We were thinking about just ourselves. So Maryland come up with a suggestion, and that we go down there and just ask the waiters, ask the people behind the counter there at Cat's drugstore, could I have a hamburger with mayonnaise and no onions, lettuce, and tomato? Could I have a hamburger? You know, each one of us had our own hamburger that we liked. Could I have a Coca-Cola or to go with this, or a glass of water? And we got there after that meeting, after you and the other advisors, I think of Portwood Williams, I think of Mr.
Lillian
Carmichael,
Oliver.
Mrs. Oliver, Mrs. Tolliver. I think after you advisors who were older, much older than us, and had experiences that we were yet to experience, and hopefully we never would experience, but you advisors, even with your knowledge, said, okay, if you all want to, we'll stand behind you.
And we did. And today we would like you to remember some names that are cemented in history. Reverend Ben Hill, Jethro Attorney Jethro Curry, Dr. Charles Atkins, William Rose, Reverend Joe Edwards, Mr. Cleet Carr, who operated a barbershop on 2nd, Reverend N.H. Jones, Dr. B.S. Roberts of Tulsa, Reverend Isaac Sims, Reverend J.A. Reed Jr., Reverend W.K. Arnold, Reverend T.J. Roberts, Reverend Eddie Baker, Reverend L.B. Quinn, Reverend J.D. Provo, Reverend R.S. Morgan, Father Cecil Williams,
Mom, these are names
Reverend
of people
T.H.
that
Hubbard.
were inspirational and
Not
background.
inspiration. These are people
These
that were
people stood
backbone. They
there,
prayed
right.
for us. They raised money. Reverend T.D. Callender. How can we ever forget him? You know, he went to Washington with us. Reverend Forrest S. Hill. Reverend J.B. Bratton Jr. Reverend G.W. Pointer. Reverend J.S. Sykes. Reverend J.C. West, Dr. E.J. Perry Jr., Dr. Earl Mitchell, Reverend Eric A. Mays Jr., Dr. Byron Biscoe, E. Melvin Porter, Dr. Chester Pierce. Yes, we remember these people. Alvin Mitchell, Leonard Hanstein, Ruby McCauley, Helen Grimmett, Nala Jewel Phillips, Jim Williams, Geneva Jolly Smith, Ronnie Spivey, David Lee Irvin, Robert Gates, Lance Cudjoe. We are trying to say that these people's names might not be out in public, but they were the backbone. Freddie Stevens, we could go on and on.
We really
and
can.
on.
I see Geneva Smith's picture there.
Geneva Smith.
These were people that not only, now after that first night there, these were people that came in who deep in their own hearts, they had the same feeling that we as young people had, but we were just tools, I think, of the time. We were kind of like the starfish on the wave. It was just the time for that to happen.
I don't know, Calvin. People
like
make things happen.
Well,
people make things happen. For example,
well,
now
you all didn't sit in your generation.
No, we didn't sit in my generation for a lot of reasons.
You hadn't gone to New York City before.
And for a lot of reasons, Calvin. The reason why we didn't know.
You all gave us that opportunity.
Okay, now we have an opportunity. A new generation comes on. Gwendolyn Fuller was president of the NACP. Barbara Posey, Calvin Luper, Marilyn Luper. Oh, we could go on down the line. Lynzetta Jones. It was not Lynzetta Carter. Or we could go on with a list of names, but time has a way of rolling on. And this year, 1900, no, 2001, we have a new president who is taking up the torch, who will be a new president
of the NACP Youth Council
of the
here in
NACP.
Oklahoma City.
Yes,
Oh,
because
my.
every year since 1958, we have celebrated the beginning of the sit-in movement. We have done it in a way that we want people to remember. We want people to remember the sit-inners. We want people to remember those people that plowed the fields and made the day possible for us. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is the 2001 president of the NACP Youth Council. What is your name, sir?
My name is John A. Pettis Jr. I'm the proud president of the Oklahoma City NAACP Youth Council.
Okay, now you have a tradition. I've gone back this morning and I've explained to the people how the sit-in started. I've explained to them how the sit-in movement was able to lead a movement that eliminated segregation in public accommodation. Now you have the torch. What are you going to do with it in the year 2001?
What are we going to do with it in the year 2001? Oklahoma City and the state of Oklahoma, watch out, because the NAACP Youth Council is on the move. We're going to have what is called the Freedom Fiesta Week celebration. It will start August 19th through August the 25th of 2001. Starting Sunday, August the 19th, in 2001, we're going to have Doc Williams Day.
Doc Williams Day.
Doc
the man
Williams
out of
Day.
Jail. Yes.
And that's coordinated by Miss Bosie Walker. And we're going to have church on that day starting at 4 o'clock p.m. at the Evangelistic Baptist Church on Martin Luther King. And our speaker will be Dr. F.D. Roseberg.
Oh, just a minute now. Let's make sure that everybody understands that. The speaker will be Dr. F.D. Roseberg, the pastor of the Paradise Baptist Church in Oklahoma City. Is that correct?
That is correct, Miss Luper.
You know, Reverend Roseberg will certainly bring a message because of the experiences that he has had. For example, he in 1971-73, he was the pastor of the Mount Calvary Baptist Church in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Then in 1900, from 1967 to 73, he was pastor of the Singing Hills Baptist Church in Dallas, Texas. And then he was the pastor of the First Baptist Church in Rockwall, Texas. He was an associate pastor of the People's Missionary Baptist Church in Dallas, Texas. And he is qualified. He has a doctor of ministries. He has a master of systematic theology. He has a certificate that is very important. It's working through grief, and certainly we have had grief. But in 1960, 3 years after the sit-in movement started, he was ordained as a minister, and now he's the proud pastor of the Paradise Baptist Church in Oklahoma City. And he has done wonders out there. He built a $250,000 church, and oh, you just got to go out there and see it. You got to see the church park. You got to see what he has done and the confidence that his members have in him. He will be there, and I understand his choir will be with him. And whose program is that?
This is coordinated by Miss Bosie Walker.
Miss Bosie Walker. Okay, that's on Sunday, and that's August 19th, and the public is invited. All right. Here we have the torch has been handed to a new generation. Mr. John who?
John A. Pettis Jr.
Okay, and we are down to Monday.
What we have going on Monday, August the 20th, 2001, is John E. Green's Day.
I like to talk about John E. Green because John E. Green was an unsung hero of the sit-in movement. He was our attorney. He planned the legal strategy. He was able to bring in attorneys from Wichita, Kansas, attorneys from New York City, and it was something. Okay.
Moving on.
You didn't tell me what's going on. That's who's coordinating that day.
Miss Coleman is coordinated.
Mrs. Rosetta Coleman?
Miss Rosetta Coleman is coordinated that day.
I understand that she has a cake that's one of the best cakes. It's one of those big old, I don't know what kind of cake you call it. I call it Coleman Special.
Coleman Special.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay.
Tuesday, August the 21st, Cecil L. Williams Day.
The black businessman. Oh, C.C.L. Williams played a part in the sitting movement. I never shall forget one day he went down to Bishop's restaurant and he sat there all night long. And when we went down the next morning to pick up Cecil, I couldn't believe it. Cecil was tired and worn, but behind that smile was a dream of a better day for his children and his grandchildren. On C.C.L. Williams Day, who will be coordinating that and what will happen?
Miss Ford and Miss Ray will be coordinated that
Leola
day.
Ford
Yes, ma'am.
and Wilma Ray.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
And what's going to happen on that day? They're going to have some salads ready for you to taste and eat. And also, they're going to have a message: get out and vote.
that's
Day.
very important, and that was Cecil's life. Because Cecil used to say all the time that a voteless people is a hopeless people. Get out, register, and vote. And that's going to be done when now?
That's going to be on Tuesday, August the 21st.
All right. That's Cecil L. Williams, a black businessman's day. Okay.
Moving on to a higher level. Wednesday, August the 22nd, 2001 will be President's Day, coordinated by yours truly, John A. Pettis Jr.
The President's Day. They've always had the President's Day. Tell me about what will happen on that day.
What would happen on the President's Day, which will be on Wednesday, August the 22nd? We're going to have downtime, good time church that will be held at the Faith, Hope, and Love Missionary Baptist Church on Southeast 59th. And we're going to have a musical. We're going to have different things involved during that program. The program will start at 7 o'clock p.m. on Wednesday.
Okay, now you're going to have a musical.
Yes, ma'am. And we're inviting all the different choirs to come and celebrate with us. We're asking for youth choirs and adult choirs. Watch out, Oklahoma City, because the NAACP Youth Council is on the move.
Now, Wednesday is the President's Day. And tell me again who's the president of the NAACP Youth Council.
The proud president of the Oklahoma City NAACP Youth Council is John A. Pettis Jr.
All right, now John A. Pettis Jr., that's the president. You got it in your bones. Was your father once the mayor of a city?
Yes, my father, John A. Pettis, was one of the former mayors of El Reno, Oklahoma. He started his journey as a city councilman in El Reno, Oklahoma, and then became mayor of El Reno, Oklahoma.
Well, tell me about your uncle.
My uncle, the late John B. White, a former representative of this great state, grew up in El Reno, Oklahoma, and then in the 1950s he became, I believe, the second African American elected to the House of Representatives in this great state of Oklahoma.
And that's the President's Day.
And that's the President's Day,
Okay, let's go to the next day.
which is Thursday, August the 23rd, the Sit-Inners Day, coordinated by Miss Gloria Matthews.
All right, Mrs. Gloria Matthews.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Gloria Matthews, I understand, is having a sale. She's selling things that you just wouldn't believe it. Gloria Matthews and the Sit-Inners, because I know one thing, I'm going by Gloria Matthews and buy something. Here, Calvin, I understand that you're working with Mrs. Gloria Matthews. Did you know she had dolls? Did you know she had clothes for sale? Did you know, you can't imagine what all she has.
Mom, I know Mrs. Matthews, and I know the struggle that she has fought. Now, that's a story on itself, but then that's inspirational to all of us sit-inners. Mrs. Matthews' kids, her daughter, her son, herself, her business, her personal business has all been invested in different phases of the NAACP Youth Council, Oklahoma City Youth Council struggle, fighting for freedom here in Oklahoma City. Back during the sit-in movement, there was Cheryl, there was Shardina, there was Cheryl, there was
Johnson?
Chauncey, and then the young lady that works at Tinker now that was there, and I know her so well. But then, of course, there was Mrs. Matthews, and whatever she has, I'm going to be happy to be a part of it, because of the fact that it's easy to talk that talk, but it's very difficult to talk that talk and walk that walk. Mrs. Matthews can do it. She's done it as a black woman, as an entrepreneur black woman, as a black businesswoman. She's done it, and over the years, it's nothing but encouragement to those of us in the sit-in movement. And it's an honor and it's a pleasure that she is working with us and we're working together to make that sit-inners day a beautiful day. Miss Matthews, is tough. We have a long way to go as sit-inners, even though we're getting up in age. We got a few gray hairs and stuff. We got a long way to go to keep up and to catch. Well, I don't think there's no catching up with Gloria Matthews, but just to get make some of the accomplishments and make an important statement in the community like she's done, and we look forward to it. Merlin is achieving it and working hard. Alma Faye, Betty, myself, Porty Jr., all of us, we understand.
Okay, now that's your day.
But that's our day.
And
I
you all
like to
going to
brag
be
on our
selling.
day.
What else you all going to be doing on your
Well,
day?
one thing we'll be doing too, Mom, making sure that each and every person that participates in the Freedom Fiesta knows that you can get an NAACP membership. We want you to know also that on Monday nights at the Freedom Center, there will be NAACP Youth Council meetings. This is not just this year. Last year, this has gone on for over 30 years.
Way over 30,
way
starting
over
in
30.
1957.
57, okay. But then I'm talking about from the Freedom Center there on Martin Luther King Avenue.
1968.
2609 North Martin Luther King. White building, monument out in front. Kind of hard to miss the Freedom Center. But then the meetings are there every Monday night, 7 o'clock. Invite you there. School getting ready to start. There's tutors available. School's getting ready to start. There's
Okay,
information
Calvin,
available.
we've
But all
given you
this
your
comes
time
from
to talk
Sit-Inners
about
Day.
it.
Miss
It's
Matthews
Thursday
will be
night.
there, and the sit-inners will be there. We're looking forward to it, Mom. And Coco, hold on. We coming to you.
Okay, how about on Friday?
And on Friday, August the 24th, is Miss Nancy Davis, Lady Ruth Hunter, and Lillian Oliver's Day.
Oh, my gracious. I remember Lillian Oliver, who took the first bus carload of young people down to Cat's drugstore. Although Lillian Oliver sleeps in yonder's grave, her spirit moves on, and the torch is carried by Lady Ruth Hunter, Nancy Davis. And what are they having?
Well,
They are having a fashion show.
You want
Fashion
to-
show, watch out.
Not a fashion show. Let's say the fashion show. Mrs. Hunter, she puts her best foot forward. Nancy Davis, hey, those are some dangerous feet when they get together, because Mrs. Hunter and Mrs. Davis have spent years as educators in in what we used to call, the young ladies hated to go to that class. That was a cooking class and sewing class, home economics. But then they took that experience, and they've shared it so much, and I look forward to that fashion show every year because it's always a highlight there. Whether it's a new
And
style
that's the
hat
coronation of the Queen
of the
and King
Mr.
of
and
the,
Miss NACP.
the Freedom Fiesta
Freedom
Queen.
Fiesta, okay.
Yes. Okay, and Saturday.
Watch out, Oklahoma City in the state of Oklahoma. Saturday, August the 25th, 2001 is Miss Clara Luper's Day. And I'm going to let Miss Luper talk about her day.
Okay, I can certainly talk about Clara
Here
Luper's
we go.
Day
Buckle your seatbelt. Call that neighbor.
because Clara Luper's Day symbolized all that have participated in the sit-in movement. If you were in a sit-in movement, that's your day, Clara Luper's Day. Oh, what a day!
What a
Can
day,
you see?
Mom.
What a day! That would be a big parade that will be coordinated by Burley and Nero and Rodale Hornby. And last week, Berlin was here to tell you that he wanted all of you to participate because you're a part of Clara Luper's Day. It's a spirit of achievement. It's a spirit of courage. It's a spirit of dedication. It's a spirit of doing your best the little time that you are on this little speck of earth. And you will be there. You will be participating in the freedom.
Saturday now. Let me
Yes,
get this straight.
Saturday, August the 25th.
And the parade starts.
The parade starts at 11 o'clock.
And
They
if
start
I wanna-
lined up at 10:30. If you want to participate, all you got to do is to call Clara
Berlin Nero,
Luper, Berlin
Clara Luper.
Nero, any other.
Rodale Hornby. Come by Freedom Center there to 2609
I'll go by
North
Gates
Martin Luther
Barbershop.
King
Mr. Gates.
Avenue. There's so many ways you can participate in the Freedom Fiesta Parade, the Clara Luper Day Parade. Boy, that is going to be something. Mom, will we have an
Okay.
opportunity to walk down Clara Luper corridor?
Oh, yes, you will.
On
Okay.
Clara Luper's Day.
I'm going to just let
and
the
Clara Luper's
president,
corridor.
if they want information about this day, let me finish telling you about it. On Clara Luper's Day, there will be open house of the Freedom Center, and you can come up there and look and see what we have done. Look and see it, read the newspaper, see who was actually there. We have pictures and everything. We can't jive anybody. You sure can't jive me because I was born on Bull Street, Health Avenue, ran to my back door, and my telephone number was K-O-K-O.
And that was in what city, Mom?
That was in no city, Kevin. Who
Okay.
wants to be born in
Bulls.
a city? Okay, now,
Okay.
let me tell you something. I just want you to name for me the people they can contact, please.
Okay, you can contact Miss Maxine Steele at
Steele.
at 427-6276. Again, that number is 427-6276. Next person is Mr. Nero at 373-4402.
At what? Now,
That's Berlin, Nero. Berlin will be coordinating.
737, not 3.
We'll be coordinating the parade now. 7-3, what was that? 7-3?
70272. The next person is Ms. Rosetta Coleman. You can reach her at 769-3446. Again, her number is 739-3446.
7 what now?
769-3446.
Mom, let me take this opportunity to remind all of you that you are listening to the Clara Luper Radio Show. We are here. We are talking about the Freedom Fiesta 2001 coming up. But what you have to do, what we want you to do from the Blue Room here at KTLV, what we want you to do there in your home is to get your pencil out, get your paper out, and to write down these numbers to be a part of this fiesta. KTLV 1220 on your AM dial. You're listening to the Clara Luper Radio Show.
And who else can we contact?
You can also contact Miss Leola Ford at 424-2462. And again, her number is 424-2462. The next person you can also contact is Miss Wilma Ray. You can contact her at 755-6188. And again, her number is 755-6188. The next person you can also contact is Mr. John A. Pettis Jr. You can proudly contact me at 424-1702. And again,
now you sure that number is what now? What's your number, John?
My number again is 424 17 02.
02. John who?
John A. Pettis
Mr.
Jr.
President.
Mr. President of the Oklahoma City NAACP Youth Council. The next person, Mr. Roberts Gate. You can contact Mr. Gates at 424-1758. And again, his number is 424-1758. The next person, Miss Gloria Matthews. You can contact her at 424-4656. And again, her number is 424-4656. The next person is Miss Lena Ruth Hunter. You can contact Miss Hunter at 427-3925. And again, her number is 427-3925. And the next person is Miss Nancy Davis. You can contact Miss Davis at 769-3761. Again, her number is 769-3761. And the next person is Miss...
My goodness, we mean all these people.
All of them, surely.
All of them.
And all of this,
right.
we need to contact all of them for the Freedom Fiesta. My goodness, why couldn't I just call one of you and say, look here, I want to participate?
But see, this isn't a one-person show.
Right. Okay, I understand that. But all these
Okay,
people
tell me
I
how to
gotta
contact
Now,
Merle.
you wearing my pencil out. Okay. Keep telling me.
The next person that you can contact is Miss Merlin Luper Hildred at 843-0811. Again, her number is 843-0811. And the next person is no other than Miss Clara Luper. You can contact Miss Luper at 424-3949. Again, Miss Luper's number is 424-3949. And the next person you can also contact is Mr. Calvin Luper. And his number is 474-1795. 5.
Well, I was wondering if you were going to get to that number. But, Mom, let's do this now. We've had an opportunity to get all these
No,
names.
we haven't finished. I haven't
I know
finished
you
on
haven't finished,
Clara
but then I
Luper.
have...
I haven't finished
but
on
Mom,
Clara
I got a caller
Luper's
that's
day.
been on the line.
Okay, well,
and they
just a
anxious to
minute.
talk about the Clara Luper
Well,
Day.
they
That's
don't
Saturday.
know
They
all
want
of
to
it.
be
Let
in the
me finish
parade.
telling you
Oh,
about it.
y'all, hold on now. She's
Okay.
talking. This is the Clara Luper
There will
Radio
be
Show.
open house at Freedom Center, but the annual Clara Luper's Freedom Fiesta dinner will be held at the Don Burns Fellowship Hall, located at 1700 Northeast 7th Street, and we are going to honor, once again, every year we honor those people that have the spirit of the sit-in movement, a spirit of dedication. Mrs. Elnora Douglas, Mr. James Gatewood, Reverend Jim Shields, Mr. Thomas Redwine from Clinton, Oklahoma, Mrs. Bosie Walker, Mrs. Marie Weekly. Now, there are a lot of things
Now,
you
what
don't
is
know.
this now? What is that now? Let me
We
make sure.
always honor.
I'm making sure I get this
Outstanding. Okay,
understanding.
let's go back over.
Y'all done giving me
Mrs.
all these
Eleanor
names
Douglas,
and numbers, and now you telling me I got to be ready
Mr.
after
James
the parade.
Gatewood,
This is at the dinner.
Reverend Jim Shields,
Reverend Shields.
Mr. Thomas Redwine,
Okay.
Mrs. Bosie Walker,
Okay.
Mrs. Marie Weekly. Now, you can come to that dinner because that's used to finance the program of the NACP and the Finnish Freedom Center. The tickets are so reasonable. You may take
Oh,
your...
Mom, don't tell us about the ticket.
I'm going to tell you
Let me
about
go-
the
Let me
ticket.
catch this call.
Wait a minute.
You don't want me
The
to catch
caller
this
might
call.
want to
I
get
got
a
two
ticket.
calls on the line.
They have silver tickets, and
Silver?
the silver tickets are how much,
Tickets.
Mr. President? The silver tickets.
The silver tickets are $25 each.
The gold tickets are,
The gold tickets are $50 each.
and the diamond tickets.
And the diamond tickets are $100 each.
Okay, now repeat that so people know it, because they talking about how they love the sit-ins
you
and
gotta
how
tie
they
the
love.
ticket
Let's
numbers
prove
in,
your
the
love.
price
Let's
of
give
the
it to them.
ticket.
How much are the tickets now?
The silver tickets are $25 each. The gold tickets are $50 each. And the diamond tickets are $100 each.
Now we don't need a lot of jive. I just need you to tell me where you're going
Well,
to
Mom,
sit.
let's see what kind
Okay,
of
let's
job we're
see.
going to catch up
Let's see.
catch
Okay,
up
I'm
with. Now,
ready
let's go
now.
with line one there
Okay.
with a young lady. I guess it's a young lady. I don't know who it is, but they've been patiently waiting to talk on the Clara Luper Radio Show about the Freedom Fiesta, the Sit-Inners Day, and the dinner there, and then also the Saturday. But I guess that's what they're going to talk about. But hello and welcome to the Clara Luper Radio Show. Thank you for your patience. Who are you?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Coco Thomas as your fantastic reporter. As you know, that the Freedom Fiesta is coming up, and you have heard from our president day by day what will be going on. And I hope that you will participate in those activities. Also, please do not forget that we do have NAACP Youth Council meetings every Monday night at 7 o'clock. And I hope that I see all of your wonderful faces out there in Radio Land there.
Well, I want to know where are you going to sit at the Clara Luper's dinner?
Where's Coco going to sit?
Yes.
At the Clara Luper's dinner, I will be sitting at the silver table.
Okay.
Silver table. Coco Thomas.
Well, that's
There's a
good.
silver table. Now, the silver table is...
Those tickets are only $25.
$25, okay, and the other table is what, Mr. President?
The other tables are we named the silver the table. Okay, we got the gold table, which is the tickets are $50. The next is the diamond tables, which is $100 a seat.
Oh, my goodness! Come on, hips, we can sit in 100. we can sit in $100 ticket. Oh my goodness!
I know all my big shot executives.
Is Coco through? Coco, did you finish with your report?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Coco.
Okay, we'll see you Monday
Do
night.
we have someone else
7
on the
o'clock
line?
at the Freedom Center. Of course we do, Mom. The lines have been lit up. I've been trying to tell you, but you got so enthusiastic about the Clara Luper Day. You got to that day and just went on and on and on.
My
But then-
grandma says a poor dog won't wag his own tail.
Okay,
That's right.
Well, okay. Well, good morning. Thank you for being so patient and being a part of the Clara Luper Radio Show. How are you doing?
I'm doing real fine, Calvin. And
Who
I want
are
to say
you?
hello to everyone is in Radio Land.
Who is this?
To us today. This is Lady Ruth Hunter, and I want to re-emphasize my day. I tried to get on Friday so I could tell you about my day myself, because we will be having our breakfast. We always have a breakfast on Friday morning. we'll be looking for you to come out and have breakfast with us on Friday morning, and we'll be telling you more about it on
What time is that
Saturday.
breakfast? What time is
Breakfast is
it?
going to start at 7:30 because people like to eat early.
Okay.
So we'll be expecting you to come to the breakfast, and we will give you the details on next week. And also, I want to tell you that on Friday night will be our fashion show. We always have a wonderful fashion show, and you want to come and see what's going to happen and the kind of clothes that they will be wearing to school this fall. And it may be a surprise to some of you because if you're not reading the paper to keep up with the news, then you do not know what the kids will be wearing. So come out on Friday night and see what the fall fashions for children will be, as well as for those of an adult.
Now,
And
Mrs.
we'll
Hunter,
see
you know I'm the
Friday
nosy
morning for
type.
breakfast. So, Calvin, get your money ready and come in.
Wait,
for breakfast.
wait a minute. I'm trying to get in a gold seat at the
Well,
dinner
now,
on
Calvin,
Saturday.
I'm
Now
gonna
you
take
say
care of
Friday. I
all
come
of
to the.
that in August.
But we can talk
We
together.
will be there, and I have contacted my friends, and I'm doing very, very well with that because they are interested. They've been coming through the years, and they said, "Oh yeah, we've been coming." So
Well-
I'm glad that you have called us.
Well, Mrs. Hunter, what I wanted to
I
know.
wanted to ask you, Calvin, how many people have you called, and how many you contacted, and where are you going to sit?
Well, Mrs. Hunter, what I want to know is what new thing will you be presenting this year at the Letty Ruth Hunter Nancy Davis Fashion Show? And that will determine where I sit. Now, if I have to be in the bleachers or high up on the roof or down on the curb, wherever,
Well,
wherever,
now, what
you know,
you
just,
want to
I mean,
say-
I know there'll be new presentation this year. You've always come up with a new style hat or a new style dress that people can wear during the
Wait a minute,
school
Calvin,
year.
hold it just right there. I think you misunderstood me because I told you we'd be showing you the fashions of the fall.
Okay.
And that told you that there would be a surprise.
Oh.
And you will be seeing what the youth will be wearing to school this fall and also what the parents will be wearing this fall. Because the style has changed, and it's changed tremendously.
Okay.
So if you want to see it, this is what I said a while ago, and I'm just iterating that. Come out and see the new
yes,
fashions
ma'am.
for the fall.
Yes, ma'am.
And I do want to tell you that we're having another big surprise, which is coming up next week. And I know you don't know that your mother is going to be speaking at my church on the 29th of July. I know you didn't know that.
No, I didn't know
right,
that, Mrs.
Kevin,
Hunter.
I'm going to expect you to come out at 4 o'clock to hear your mother talk at my missionary side of the program
Well,
on the 29th. Now, you just
now I can hear my
be there.
mother
If you're
talk.
not going to be there, I'm going to ask you
But
why.
I need to come out the 29th of July at 4 o'clock.
The
Where?
first day of me church.
Okay.
That mighty first day of me church.
Mighty First Day of Me Church. Okay, well,
That's
Mrs. Hunter,
So-
it'd be an
And
honor
this
to
is
be a
going
part
to
of the
be,
audience.
An unusual affair, and I know you're going to enjoy it because we're going to have some good singing. And Kevin, I know you like to sing, and I don't know why I'm not inviting your group there to
Well,
sing
and
on that
you need to
afternoon.
contact my agent.
I sure will.
You don't contact me.
Okay.
Contact my agent.
Okay, thank you
Thank
so
you
very
so very
much.
much, and have a nice day.
Okay. Now, those of you that want your $100 tickets, please call me immediately. And I am so proud of those of you that want your $50 tickets. And those of you that want your $25 tickets, call me so I can call your name today. I wonder where's my Mr. Hall. David Hall always call. Wonder where's David today. Ladies and gentlemen, on tomorrow at 11 o'clock, I will have the opportunity to speak at the Mayflower Congregational Church. It's located at 3901 Northwest 63rd Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And certainly I would like to thank the pastor, Minister Myers, the committee people for selecting me as one of the speakers tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock at the Mayflower Congregational Church.
Mayflower Congregational Church.
That's 3901 Northwest 63rd Street.
39. Mom, that's the long way from the east side.
But God has blessed me. I've
You
had the
speaking-
opportunity to speak to so many people, and I'm very grateful because I do have a story to tell. And my story is a story that was told a long time ago and was passed on from generation to generation. This is the Clara Luper radio
We have
show,
another caller,
and
too, if you
we
want
have
to.
another caller. Let's get
Yeah.
this caller, because
We
that caller
wanna
might
get to
want to
that
do
caller.
something besides talk
You know,
that
but
talk.
I'm thinking of 3901 Northwest Expressway hearing you speak on
Northwest 63rd.
Northwest 63rd Street, hearing you speak in the morning. And I know the Mayflower congregation is ready. They got their pens ready and their pencils ready, and I wonder what kind of seats they'll get for the Clara Luper dinner, but we never know. But we have a caller. Thank you for being a part of the Clara Luper Radio Show. How you doing? What's happening? How can we help you?
Yeah, this is Mrs. Barnes, Clara Barnes.
Yes.
I want Miss. I had a message for Miss Luper from
Tell her.
Raymond Scott in Port Arthur, Texas.
From Raymond Scott and what kind of?
Port Arthur, Texas.
Port Arthur, Texas. That's on the
What
other
did he
side of
say?
nowhere, isn't it?
Huh?
What did he say?
He told me to tell you he still love you, and he know that you're doing a good business, because I think you and him is in the same position of working.
Oh, well, thank you so
Oh, that's
very
the youth
kind.
council advisor
Yeah,
from Port
that's right,
Arthur,
in Port Arthur,
Texas.
I was
Okay.
down there for my brother's funeral on the
All right.
7th of
Sorry to hear that.
June, and then I was down in Houston Saturday to one of my other brother's funerals.
Oh.
So I was calling to tell Mr. Luper that he told me if I hadn't tell her, he was going to get me when I go back down there.
Well, thank you so very
Tell him don't get you, because we're glad that we're sorry to hear about the problems that you've had, but then we're glad that you're back here at
Yes, it was
home,
good to
Oklahoma
get
City,
back
okay?
home safe. And I had surgery on my feet. I got 5 toes cut off.
Oh,
But
my
I'm
goodness.
doing pretty good. I can
Ooh.
walk a little bit.
You didn't necessarily need 5 toes.
Yes,
Bye.
ma'am.
Well,
With that
okay.
sugar, honey.
Okay, honey. Thank you
Well,
so very
stay
much.
strong. We're
That's the
counting
first
on
time
it.
somebody ever called me and told me they got the toes cut off.
Okay,
Boy, this
and I
Clara Luper
appreciate
show
it.
is
I listen to
something.
y'all every
Well, Mom, I
time.
told you that. I told the audience last week I had a tooth pulled by one of the best dentists in Oklahoma City, located
was that?
Northeast 23rd in Highland Drive, Dr. Rome. Boy, sure was good to be in that dentist chair. You know, I don't know if it was more painful coming out or going in, but thank you, Dr. Rome, for going to school
Oh.
and learning your business. Boy,
Okay.
oh boy, oh boy. But then that's what the
Wait, let me
Freedom
tell you
Fiesta is
something.
about, too.
We
isn't it,
need
Mom?
your support. Many of you out in Radio Land say how much you appreciate the NACP Youth Council. The memberships are available. The NACP Youth memberships are $10 each, and that's an investment for your children. We need aluminum cans, don't we? Well, tell the people if you need aluminum cans.
We need aluminum cans. We are recycling cans, and we need all the cans that you have out there in Oklahoma City to support the NAACP Youth Council.
This has been quite a day because we've talked to you about the Freedom Fiesta. This is also a day that we shall never forget. Because on last week we were selling catfish at Freedom Center. I had the opportunity to talk to a friend of mine, Luther Buckner. Luther explained to me about my sorority sister, his beautiful wife, and we talked, Lily. And then on Sunday morning I had the opportunity to talk to Lily Buckner. And then I went out, and when I got back, I talked to Lily again, and she told me that her husband had died. She had gone to church as she does every Sunday at the Mount Olive Baptist Church, and when she returned home from church, she found her husband dead. But today at 11 o'clock, at the Mount Olive Baptist Church, Oklahoma City will say goodbye to Luther Buckner. Many of you remember him as a worker at Tinkerfield. Many of you remember him as a neighbor and a friend. And many of you respected him because of his love for nature, God's gift to America and to the world, tropical fish. And many of you will remember him as a father, a grandfather, and a devoted husband. But on last Sunday, Luther Buckner went home to be with his God. And those of you from all over this city will be gathering at 11 o'clock to say goodbye to a friend, a neighbor, Luther Buckner. Clara Luper reporting.
And this is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and I want to join with you, Mom, in expressing our sympathy and our sincere sympathy to the Buckner family. And thank you so much, the Buckner family, for sharing Luther with us, because he's been an asset, not only to you, not only to the church, but to the entire Oklahoma City community. Those people who work with him at Tinker, we will forever love him, but we will remember and love him dearly for the inspiration that he's been to us here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma County. Luther, we'll miss you. My brother, we will.
You know, Calvin, as we were discussing the Freedom Fiesta, We thought of so many of our friends that will not be with us during this celebration. You remember my 94-year-old news reporter, Miss Freddie Stevens.
I have that tie. I have some special.
This is the first time she's not been with us, supporting us financially with her prayers. And I remember how she would bring a whole table of people to the Freedom Fiesta dinner. We miss Freddie so much. We've lost a lot of friends this year, but God has blessed us because many of you that have not supported us before have come to our rescue, and I would like to thank you in advance. Our telephone number out here is 672-1220. And if you would just like to call us and tell us that you are with us, don't do like a lot of people. They walk up to me and say, Clara, I'm praying for you. I say, good. Will you support my children? No, I can't do that. I supported my own children. But I want you not only to pray for us, but I want you to put your money, your time, your effort where your mouth is.
Well, I want to compliment the NAACP Youth Council Oklahoma City for the outstanding way that they acted in New Orleans, Louisiana. Now, I wasn't there, and thank God for Southwestern Bell and the phone lines. I heard about our youth council members, how well they acted in the meetings, how well they acted in the hotel area. Also, I'm extremely proud of our ACT SO participants. They did a fantastic job. I started to say something last week, but I had to call the guy back and make sure that I was right. He said that our presentations were good. We just have to spend a little more time with it. But that's the same thing we all advisors are saying. But compliments Oklahoma City Youth Council. Keep up the good work. We're looking forward to being part of the Freedom Fiesta. But, Mom, it's that special time of the show when we're running short on time.
Okay, no,
I know
we
you
aren't
guys,
running short. Let me tell you, many
I
of
wanna
you
hear
called
what
me and
you have to
asked
tell
me, why was our president not part of our delegation? Mr. President, speak for yourself.
The reason why John A. Pettis Jr., the president of the NAACP, was not at the national convention in New Orleans, Louisiana. I was in Anaheim, California at the National Convention for Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, FCCLA. I was at their national convention. I basically helped ran that convention. I represented the Oklahoma delegation. We had from Oklahoma around 155 people who attended that convention. I had numerous jobs at that national convention in Anaheim, California.
Thank
That
you
was
so
many
very
hats. Here,
kindly.
take one of my hats here. Okay.
Calvin, we have come now to the time when you can take over. And there are so many birthdays today, I know.
Well, Mom, actually, it's not that many. It's
Maxine Thurman's
well,
birthday
Maxine
today.
Thurman and
Okay.
Carlos Germany and Ruby Hill. But that's not that many because there are others out there that's celebrating their birthday. But these are three special people. Carlos, I can remember taking his mom and my dear cousin. We were going down Northeast 10th Street. That was before they put A Street and all the curves in there. Carlos was trying to hurry up and get out here in Oklahoma City. Carlos, thank you for coming. Thank you for being an integral part of our community and doing a good job. Miss Ruby Hill, so thank you.
Oh,
Happy birthday to you. This is not your 70th birthday, but one of them over 70 birthdays. I know you're having a good time today, and the celebration is coming because the birthday is not today, but it's sometime next week. But Miss Ruby Hill turned past the big 70, and Mrs. Thurman, Miss Marie Thurman, happy birthday to you. And from the Weekend Singers, this comes from our heart. Happy birthday to you, Carlos and Ruby and Marie Thurman. Happy birthday, Carlos German.
Maxine.
Happy birthday, Ruby Hill. Happy birthday, Maxine Thurman. And may you all have many, many more.
Oh, this is a Clara Luper radio show, and this portion of the program is being brought to you by Leo's Barbecue, where you can still get that barbecue. Those of you that want to support us, and many of you tell me you don't like how we are doing it, then come and show us how to do it. We want your advice, we want your support, and we are standing ready for you to help us.
2609.
2609 North Martin Luther King, and when you see me, be sure and tell me that you're going to support me. Don't tell me that you're not going to support the children, because in the first place, You are where you are because of children. You didn't go downtown.
Freedom Fiesta time.
It's Freedom Fiesta time, and we are going to do what now?
Celebrate.
Watch out, Oklahoma City, because we are on the move.
All right, Clara Luper reporting, and stay out of trouble, please.
Love you.
We'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to the Clara Luper Show. Join Sister Clara Luper here each and every Saturday from 9 until 10 at your number one gospel station, KTLV. And until next Saturday, may God bless you.
And the views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were not necessarily those of AM Radio 1220 KTLV.
Father, I need your help and a hand.